Now, you never thought bats could hold the key to life across the whole universe, did you? But let's see if that's actually the case. You see, bats are unique in many ways, but there are two very special components to a bat's existence, and these components they give us a glimpse into nature's blueprints. Bats are known for their ability to hang upside down. No one ever told them to do it. They were never convinced it's the right thing to do. It's just in their nature. Now, a quick search into why these creatures prefer to hang upside down will suggest that their wings and legs they're too weak, and this causes an inability to launch themselves into the air from ground level. But there's a little problem with this approach because it completely overlooks the other unique element that characterizes a bat's existence, which is bats, they're somewhat blind, meaning they don't rely on their visual cortex the same way we do. When we gaze into this world, we do it from the convenience of our visual cortex. It's like a screen in the back of our brain, and it combines the potential image that we receive from our two eyes into one single moving picture. It's our personal cinema screen we've been watching our whole lives, and it does a pretty good job at connecting us to this world. But the more we understood about our visual cortex, the more perplexing it all became. Scientists soon realized that our eyes, which act as a lens, they flip over the image, which is then relayed to our visual cortex. It's accepted, although highly debated, that newborn babies experience the world upside down for a short time before their brain is able to compensate and reorient the baby's perception. Now, you won't believe me when I say this, but this is probably one of the most important things we will ever discover about ourselves, and yet we've managed to miss the significance of this seemingly minor detail. You see, knowing that the eye is a lens that flips over the image of the world is really all we need when we ask a very simple but very important question. What would happen if the chain of our visual connection to this world did not have a lens in the middle of it? How would we interact with the world around us if instead of the eyes that flip over the image, we had a completely different system which would altogether bypass our two eyes? It's not enough to simply not use our eyes to see the world. There needs to be an alternative system. And thankfully, the bat's sonar system provides that alternative. Bats were never in a position where their brain had to compensate for a world that seemed upside down. Because although bats use their eyes to a degree, their sonar system overrides them and provides an image of the world without the flipped over appearance caused by a lens. Really think about this for a moment. Could it truly be a coincidence that our visual cortex is compensating for an image that is upside down, and a mammal that doesn't rely on that very same visual cortex just happens to be upside down from everyone else? What bats and newborn babies are showing us is that all mammals on Earth using a visual cortex are experiencing the world from an inverted position to their bodies. We are born into this world, seeing it upside down. Our brain then reorients our perception to align with our bodies. The bat is also born upside down, but its visual cortex is not doing a very good job at reorienting the bat's perception because its sonar system is interrupting this transition. As a result, the bat will live out its life inverted to other mammals who use a lens to connect to their environments. The bat is physically demonstrating this by hanging, walking, and living upside down. Almost everything except for flying is done this way. So if you really think about it, our whole lives are adjusted to work with an upside down source. When you look out into this world, the actual you, the person that's looking into the screen is inverted because you have to make that distinction between your eyes, the head and body they belong to, and you. You are not your eyes or even your head, because if you were, you'd be seeing two separate screens for each eye. But what you are is the entity looking at the back of your screen, the back of your cortex. And the cool thing is that you're doing it upside down from your eyes, head, and body, which means we need to divide ourselves into two separate parts. On one side, we have the part of our being that enjoys watching the world through a screen at the back of our brain. On the other side is the body itself, which responds to the commands of its inverted counterpart as a result of nature's construct applying to anyone with a visual cortex. What bats are showing us is that the natural inner state of any species on Earth that utilizes a visual cortex is in direct opposition to its body. Bats are the exception, with their bodies aligned to their inner natural state, because their inner bat that was meant to be watching the screen is actually responding to its sonar system, which means it won't feel the need to flip over and experience the world like us. We are not our eyes or the body they're connected to. We are the entity looking in the back of our brain from an inverted position. In my next video, we'll see why nature would even have us in this position in the first place, and how the simplest and most obvious organism on this planet has been demonstrating this from the beginning of our time here. Maybe even suggesting that being inverted from your body is actually the most basic and crucial ingredient in the recipe for life. Tune in next time. I'll see you all then.